going on, guys? We're here today, and today we're going to be reacting to the continued series of Vampiolence by Scribbler. This will be Chapter 8. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I remember exactly what happened in the last one. I think, if I remember correct, it was basically further persuasion by Vinyl to basically make, oh god, what was her sister's name? I can't remember. Whatever her name is, basically go, like, trying to tell her how her father uses them. He's not really even a father, but yeah. And it went into the past and explained how I think Vinyl and Octavia kind of clicked. Like, she saves him from this rich boy, like Blue Blonde, to basically, that was basically trying to ruin her reputation, basically abused her. And in the end, she broke his leg or something like that, making him unable to ever perform music again or something like that. Where could this be going? I know one thing. She, not Octavia, Vinyl had to retrieve a book that basically took away her vampirism, if I remember correct. But basically Voron is wanting control of the book or something like that. Like, wanting to basically know how she did what she did. And judging from the thumbnail, it's not going to be pretty. This is also, it's GRIMDARK, so don't expect us to be happy. I'm going to be reacting to 8, and 9 will be out tomorrow, so I'll probably get to that maybe the day after. I'm not sure. But I've got another one to watch after this, so let's just get into this. Starting in 3, 2, 1, bang. Oh yeah, it's Paramount Macabre to 2019. I forgot about that. Here, I'll just keep my one headphone out so I don't shout in the house.
Vinyl arched her neck, white-hot bolts of agony ripping up and down her legs like some unseen force was tearing off her muscles and sewing them back on in the wrong order. She gritted her teeth, but still cried out as the ring of magic spiraled around her and then dissipated. Her legs trembled, her stomach roiled. Every inhalation was eclipsed in pain only by the necessity of letting each breath out again.
Don't pass out, don't pass out, don't pass out, don't pass out, don't pass out!
What's taking so long? Are you even trying?
Vellum pantomime.
Vellum, that's her name. I knew it was a V.
Isn't some kind of parlor trick.
Vinyl.
Oh yeah, that's right. This spell's
she
like,
had performed
the
3
spell's like very
castings
heavily
so far,
complicated, and it's like made in layers.
Exhausted.
So yeah, it's
she
like
wasn't
a
even
curse.
sure if she was using the right spell to undo the curse.
It's not easy to break.
But it was all she had. The book claimed it was a catch-all spell to undo other spells, but she had no idea whether it would even work on a curse.
I really hope that the audio's okay, because I tried to fix it through OBS.
Whatever.
Vellum picked up a set of headphones and slipped them over her ears. She mimicked using an invisible turntable, shaking her hindquarters in a way Vinyl would never do.
Hey, look, I'm DJ Pone 3. Bush, 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 tree.
Vellum.
Voron interrupted her terrible impression of Vinyl's music.
Be quiet.
Okay.
Vellum's expression became mutinous. Evidently, the conversation from the attic was still weighing
I'm trying to
on her
block
mind,
the sun in the
since
background
she
because
flopped
it
into a
tends to
vacant
see past
chair
my head, but
and muttered to
I hope I
herself.
don't blind you guys.
Why should we even take her back? We're just fine without her. Better than fine.
Good,
Vellum.
good,
Voron said,
thing.
very quietly.
Like, good point.
Mind your tongue. We need Vanelda because we are family.
Vanelda.
And family is everything.
We managed for 10 years without her.
If you
10
are
years.
not prepared to speak out loud, do not speak at all. Muttering to oneself is unladylike. You should be more like Octavia.
Okay, mister.
He hugged Octavia closer.
Damn it, Goody, why are you
She
so good?
knows when to keep her tongue silent. Her mother raised her
Okay, apparently
well.
this spell is very powerful
She
that even
taught
she's
her
having trouble
manners
breaking
and
it.
decorum.
Vinyl looked up.
Or trying to,
Octavia reacted
break
like a
through the
rag
layers.
doll, allowing Boron to move her about without protest or any indication of fear. Her eyes were dull, her expression flat, as if she had reached her limit for traumatic experiences, and her brain had simply switched off rather than process any more of the
So this
nightmare
artwork
she was
is very
trapped in.
familiar from the
Daddy,
other story of
I'm
Twilight.
so sorry.
But I think
Vinyl was
she's,
getting so used to this
I want to say this is
incantation
so
now
Penna's
that she
artwork,
didn't
but it
need
could
to
be
keep her eyes on
no,
the
it's not
page
clouds.
to read
I know
it all,
clouds.
which was just as well.
But
As
then
her
again,
stomach rebelled
looks like it's
when
so
the
Penna's.
spiral of
I'm not
glittering
sure.
magic enveloped her once more.
Quod factum es, un pade severde, un hoc nodum, passe dissolve.
Oh, I'm
Hoc
absolutely
dividitavo,
sure that Lost
ego
got that in one
placida
take.
veris, me vita spectre.
Fire raced through her veins. Her eyeballs felt like they were exploding in her
Okay.
skull. Her legs refused to hold her up this time, and she collapsed onto her side
Okay.
before the spell was done, kicking uselessly. The scream in her throat became a guttural moan, and then a wet eviction of what was left in her
Okay.
stomach. When the magic dispersed,
fuck?
she lay heaving on the floor, head resting in her own
Or did
vomit,
she just, like, grow
trying
fangs
to
again?
bring up food she hadn't eaten.
How many
Yikes.
more times, Vanelda?
I'm
How
sure
many
Lost
more
got that
times
on
do
one
you have to
take.
cast this
I
spell?
didn't know those were real words. Probably Latin or something like that.
Many as it takes.
She felt awful, far worse than when she had
Yeah,
cast the
she's
curse
probably
on
weak
herself.
because when she cast it, she
Well,
was still a vampire,
apart
so
from the first
probably...
time. She could feel it still, blocking her vampiric powers. When she had first cursed herself, it
Yep.
had been to render herself mortal.
Yep.
She had not known that the curse would not rid her of her vampire nature, only bury it deep inside her.
Ooh.
She was mortal.
Yeah, so this is
But
going to
she
take a
wasn't like
lot.
other mortals, a fact
And
she
she's
had
not as strong
carried
as
with
she
her
was,
every
so
hour of
this is
every
going to be...
day
Ooh.
for 10 years.
Yep,
And
10
yet
years.
she would not do anything differently. Those 10 years had been with Octavia, and even if it had all been built on deception, the happiness they had experienced together was worth
There's blood on the
10,000
book,
curses
so
and even
apparently
more
she shed some blood in the
counterspells.
process.
Everything she did now, she did for Octavia. She didn't know how, but she would save her. Even if it meant sacrificing herself, she would make sure
I don't
Octavia
think that
lived to
Boron's
see
going
the
to let her live
morning.
regardless,
Still on her side,
because he's just
Vinyl
that
began
demented.
to chant.
Quod factum es, imperator vis severde, un hoc nodum, passe dissolve.
That sounds
hoc
Latin to me.
Tammy.
So she's basically having to push herself to the point of like where she's about ready to pass out to get this spell to work, or to break the spell technically. Wow. Poor Vinyl. Where's that Vanelda, technically? Oh, god damn it. Fucking ads! Way to kill the mood. Or to change the mood. Okay, so...
It was jazz band rehearsal tonight.
that
Octavia
makes
Philharmonica
sense.
should not have been
Okay.
at the theater. Vanelda studiously copied up her class notes, adding to them from her own knowledge and the textbook in front of her. Jazz band was more discordant than orchestra. She liked it more. Something about the freedom and inventiveness appealed to her.
Wait, who,
Where
Octavia
orchestra was
or
all
Vinyl?
about practicing every detail until the whole symphony was perfect, jazz intentionally broke the rules, creating new patterns of sound that may sound sweet, may sound dissonant, but
That's
were
true.
always,
That is true.
always passionate.
Jazz is one of the
Somebody
most
cleared the throat
difficult
behind her.
guitar
Her pen
styles.
stopped. She knew that voice.
Not difficult, but,
Hello.
you know,
Octavia
complicated.
said quietly. Vanelda
That'll be a
turned.
music,
She was surprised to see the familiar
nerd.
braids were gone. Instead, Octavia's mane was loose and brushed forward to cover part of her face.
Sorry.
It made her look older, though judging from the corner of white gauze poking out,
Also,
the change was
ship.
mainly to cover her injury. Vanilda mumbled something that might have been a greeting.
Okay.
You vanished on Saturday?
I know, I'm sorry. I had to get home. I didn't realize how late it had gotten.
A lie.
Okay.
It dripped easily off her tongue.
Ah,
My father is very
an
strict.
asshole.
He likes it when we're home by the time he sets.
Not a lie, or not a whole lie. At least, when Voron said to be back, you were back with time to spare.
So technically, she's not.
Octavia's chin
Totally
drew towards
lying,
her
but
chest,
she
as if
is,
this was not the
you know,
answer she had
missing
been
some
expecting.
very
And she
grim
was
details.
reassessing what she had planned to say next.
I was worried. Professor Orchid was too when she couldn't find you.
I was safe. It was you who were
Scribbler
hurt.
is literally the best Octavia out there. I mean, seriously.
Yes, I was.
Octavia drew in a breath and let
When
it
she
out
spoke it.
slowly.
Oh shit! Well, it's technically not season finale. It's episode
I
23.
wanted to say thank you for
When she,
what
but
you
when
did,
basically
Tommy.
she was voiced in
It's
episode
fine.
23, all I heard was
Vanilda dropped her
Scribbler.
gaze, taking in the variety of garbage left behind by the rest of the evening class students.
Hey, that's an interesting art
But
style.
you're welcome, I guess.
Octavia gently patted the side of her head.
I had to have stitches, and the doctor said I had a concussion.
Yeah.
Campus security wanted to speak to you about it.
Okay.
For a moment, Vanilda panicked, but every pony had accepted
Excuse
the
me?
story that renowned partygoer Base Note had once again gotten drunk, gone out looking for his rival, and tried to hide in a tree after beating her up, with disastrous consequences. If he remembered
Yeah.
anything about what had truly happened, he had not told anyone. If he had, Vanilda would have had to leave and start hunting in the suburbs, away from the university. She hated hunting in suburbs. Families lived in suburbs.
Yep. More.
Children lived
You're
in
outnumbered, pretty
suburbs.
much.
I didn't do
And
much.
she doesn't like to
I just punched him to
go
get
after
him
ponies.
off
She
you.
likes to go after my
And kicked
animals.
him and rammed a hoof in his groin and more.
If my dad found out I was fighting, he wouldn't let me come here anymore.
Come here? To the university?
She nodded.
Yeah.
Like
pretty
I
much.
said, he's really strict. If it got out that I got into a fight, he'd find out and...
Well,
She searched for an
she
acceptable
w-
phrase.
Yeah.
ground me?
Also, it looks like she's blushing,
Yeah,
so I have a
that
feeling that
sounded
they're gonna
banal enough.
click here.
She hoped she sounded convincing. Octavia gave her a sidelong look.
Okay.
Without warning, she slid into the seat beside Vanilda,
Shit.
leaning close.
You're not actually a student here, are you?
No.
Was every pony around here a
Technically
detective
not.
or something? Or was she just
more
that
of a-
idiotic about covering her tracks
She's more
these
of a
days?
foreign exchange
She never
student.
used to be so careless.
Not necessarily,
Damn
but
it.
you know what I mean.
Octavia's gaze flicked to Vanilda's pen, which had snapped on her hoof. She blinked in surprise.
Gosh, don't worry, I'm not going to tell anyone.
Professor
Ooh.
Orchard lets me stay.
I gathered as much. You and she seem rather
Coffee,
close.
of course.
Close.
Because
They were
Scribbler's a
barely
coffee freak,
acquaintances,
but
weren't they? Then
Nothing wrong with
again,
that.
Professor Orchid had gone out of
Coffee
her
freak
way
myself.
to accommodate Vanilda's desire to learn magic when she really didn't have to. Did that make them more than acquaintances? For some reason, that made
Okay.
Vanilda's heart lurch.
ugh.
She couldn't tell if it was in shock, revulsion, or fear.
Not
a
really.
little, a
She
little
said,
all.
feigning nonchalance.
University professors don't give up their Saturdays to give students lessons, especially students who aren't paying university fees.
Octavia pointed out.
Yeah, college fees.
Oh. Well,
That ain't good.
I guess?
I'm certainly grateful for it. I'd be in a
She literally
a
saved
mess
your life.
now if you hadn't been on campus when you were.
You're welcome.
I didn't tell campus security your name. Professor Orchid didn't either. I followed her lead, and afterwards she told me that I
Does she
did the
have
right
a-
thing,
Did she really?
even though
Yeah, she's named her
technically
s-
it was the wrong thing.
Okay, Mabar.
She was right. I wouldn't want you hauled in and punished by campus security for hitting base note when you were just defending me.
self-defense.
Vanelda let out a mirthless chuckle.
Like campus security could punish me. Not in any way that counts.
She realized
yeah.
what she was
She's
saying
got a
and
point.
faltered.
I
Can I
mean...
take you up a coffee?
Her train of
Except for
thought
another
jumped the
coffee.
tracks.
What?
And maybe a pastry? To say thank you. It's the least I can do.
So
I
their
know a
relationship's
great
basically
bakery
growing,
that
yeah.
stays open late and does the
kinda
most
sparking.
amazing lattes.
Octavia smiled. Her teeth were small and white and blunt.
Doesn't she have
Vanelda shook
fangs?
her head to stop herself staring at that horribly genuine smile.
Caffeine doesn't have much effect on me.
I'm a tea drinker myself.
Octavia
Oh my god, this reminds me so much of
clearly thinking the
Daughter of
headshake
Discord
was a
when
no.
Mothball
She got to
basically
her
learns what
hooves,
chocolate milk
absently
is, and
pulling her
he
hair
says it's a
forward.
substitute. He's like it's
It's
like a
fine. I
substitute
just
for
thought...
love.
I'd like to go for tea with you.
Vanelda couldn't believe she
Ship.
had said the words. She wanted to snatch them out of the air and ran them back down her throat. The bottom half of her pen crunched to fragments in her grip. Octavia
That
smiled.
don't sound like a
once
pen. That sounds
more.
more like a pen.
All right
soul.
then. That is, if you're done with your work.
I'm done.
Vanelda scooped
And
everything
no offense
into a
to the artist,
saddlebag she
but
had
I don't know.
appropriated
Vanelda's,
during one of her
vinyl.
nighttime bookstore
Her neck
jobs.
kind of looks.
It had a picture
don't
of
know, it just
someone
looks
named
kinda
Barry
weird.
Trotter on
It
the
looks
side.
too small. Too
She
thin.
allowed the broken pen to tumble into the bag
But then again,
too,
it could be the
hiding
perspective.
it under her notebook.
Also, why does she
Excellent.
seem so
My treat then,
much older?
Octavia winked.
for my knight in shining armor.
The corner of Vanelda's mouth
I see what you did there,
tugged
Scribbler.
upwards of its own will.
Fun pun.
You're very strange.
In
So
a
are
good
you.
way, I hope.
She was smiling. She was actually smiling. And
Well, the
not the
Jazz has
smile of
kinda
a hunter
turned into
enticing prey into a dark alley either.
Into
She
more
couldn't
of
stop
a
her lips
more,
from
like,
curving
more of a,
upwards.
Whatever,
Yes.
classical
She
occasion.
said, and meant it.
In a good way.
Ship. Fuck's sake. Dun, 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 dun. Want to say I've heard this before. So basically we got all the grim shit going on in the background, and okay, title card by Static Muni. Never heard of her. Great artwork. Yeah, I know who the people are by this point. Freaking. The two most sinister are definitely Vellum and Voron. Those two are holy crap. Dark, very disturbing, and very twisted. Okay, I gotta be ready for the pause because, yeah. In fact, I think right... Wait, what's coming up next? Nothing? Okay, yeah, that's a good place to pause. Alright, that was Vampiolence Chapter 8. So, okay, this one... Okay, basically, we've got what's going on in the background, and we've got what happened in the past, like what led up to this. Basically, Final and Octavia's relationship growing slowly but surely. Okay, I understand why Vinyl's having a much harder time, well, Vanelda, is having such a much harder time, you know, casting the spell, breaking it, trying to, you know, give herself back her vampirism, I think is what it is, or is it mortality, or immortality, blah, blah, blah. It's because back 10 years ago, she was a vampire, for one. 2, she was stronger, and 3, she was just more attuned to this. She's had 10 years to basically escape all that, and therefore it's caused her strength to dwindle. So this is going to probably take a majority of her physical strength as much as her mental state, which is probably on the verge of nothing right now because of the fact of what's happening to Octavia. Or what's happened to Octavia is more like it. But I just know Voron is not going to let her live. I already know this. This is not going to happen. It's either going to... I don't know where it's going, honestly. I don't. Like, as far as the spell, I have a feeling that Vinyl is not going to be able to cast it, but she said she would not give up for Octavia's sake. I have a feeling if she does succeed, Voron is just basically going to say, screw your mere friend and, you know, just completely get rid of her. and then he's going to force her back into her life. But I don't feel that's how it's just going to end at all. Like, I feel like there's a happy ending possibility. Like, not a happy ending, but just a justified ending. But I don't think Octavia is gonna make it. Honestly, I do not. Like, I feel like this is gonna go for a little longer, but I don't feel it's got much left to tell. I mean, seriously. We started this, like, at the beginning of October last year. I mean, seriously, this has been going on for a full year now. So, but no rush, Scribbler. I know you're busy. I know you've got a crap ton of crap on your plate. And, you know, just a lot to, yeah. There's just a lot on your plate, and I know you've got a lot. But, yeah, this is fantastic. I'm loving it so far. As far as what's going on in the current present, yeah, I think Final may succeed. Either that or she's gonna have to find an alternative. But she said she wouldn't give up, so I have a feeling that she's not gonna give up. So she probably will end up breaking the spell. I don't believe Octavia is gonna live. But with like the background story playing into it, it's coming almost full circle. So I don't know where the story's going, honestly. I have no idea. I know Voron is a heartless son of a bitch. And I know for a fact Vellum is a freaking, sinister little twat. The reason why is because she's been led that way. Like, from the moment she was born, she was destined to be Voron's, like, protege. Like, the one at his hoof. Like, literally. Blah, blah, blah. Vanelda, totally opposite, because, but I saw something, basically Voron is telling Vellum, you know, shut up, or something like that. I have a feeling Vellum's going to come into play here pretty quickly. I mean, she's sinister, but I have a feeling she's going to play part into this. Chapter 9 comes out tomorrow. Maybe I might react to it live. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on all that's going on. Anyways, yeah, but that was Chapter 8, and I'm loving it so far, Scribbler. Keep up the good work. Keep up the great work, artists. Everything that has happened so far in the series, I'm loving it. So, thank you guys for watching, and that's all I got for now. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Make sure you hit that bell icon. Very important right now for YouTubers. And, yeah, that's all I've got. Happy Wars until the next time. Make sure to take care, and stay away from vampire ponies.